Mr. Isbell, will you please provide us with the invocation, sir?
Let's bow our heads. Father, we just thank you, Lord, for another beautiful day that you've given us, Lord. It's a day that you have made, and we will rejoice in it. Father, as we do the business of the county, Lord, we pray for your wisdom. Lord, we pray that you give us grace and mercy where we fall short. And we just thank you again for the day, Lord. Thank you for the people that are serving. Thank you for the citizens that are here. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
All right. I would entertain, well, actually, I have several changes to the agenda. So I'm going to list these out and where they go. Please attempt to keep up, and thank you guys for finance team for adding some of these to my notes here. Under my report, we have the library software. I would like to also add parking garage elevator, discussion of parking garage elevators.
Which item?
That's going to be item B.
Okay.
Item C would be the county clerk, an ongoing 5-year lease for their printers. Item D is something that came out of the last meeting, which was a question to the county mayor, just a clarification on the 3-star grant. Under the report of the finance director, we will be adding a request for a transfer from general session sort. That would be item 4B1B. And then item 4B1C is another transfer from the sheriff's office. Both of these are no additional funding, but they are transfers. Under new business, this is my fault. I failed to add a motion from the floor for Mr. Harrison last month for discussion of funding for additional funding for volunteer fire departments. So that will be item E under new business. So I would entertain a motion to approve that subject to those changes.
Motion to approve with additions.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you guys, and thank you all for bearing with me. Recognition of the public. Mr. Jeremy Mansfield. 5 minutes, sir.
Thank you, Jeremy Mansfield, 105 Copper Creek Drive, Goodlettsville, Tennessee. You have an item on your agenda about reappraisal cycles. I don't know what's on there. It's been there for a couple of months. I'll just say that I'm concerned if there's any discussion about moving this reappraisal cycles, anything less than a 5-year. Both Commissioner Mo Taylor and myself fought pretty extensively against that happening back in 2019. We were successful in keeping it at a 5-year reappraisal cycle. Mainly, the simple fact is that shortening the reappraisal cycle from every 5 years to 2 years gives tax and spend politicians more frequent opportunities to raise property taxes under political cover each time. You know, and I remember at that time I wrote down a comment from a citizen, and what politician wouldn't want that kind of cover? Basically, the analogy I gave is kind of like a frog in a slowly boiling pot of water that you keep turning on the heat, keep turning on the heat, keep turning up the heat, and eventually that frog dies. That's pretty much what a 2-year reappraisal cycle is compared to a 5-year reappraisal cycle. One day, citizens wake up and realize, oh, my bill's gone up like exponentially, hundreds or even thousands of dollars, what it was a couple years ago, and by then their wallet's already been cooked and their budget's dead. You know, the idea that more frequent appraisals will protect citizens, and this is something that was said 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I think it's not just flawed, it's actually foolish. The truth is, any proposal to reduce the reappraisal cycle to less than 5 years exposes citizens to more frequent tax hikes and less transparency. You know, Ron DeSantis was talking about property taxes recently, and you know, taxing people based on unrealized gains is already unfair, and giving government more chances to do it more often only makes it worse. So it's a bad idea. You know, and citizens commented, were vehemently against it last time. I even had a discussion with the former property assessor, now county mayor, about this, who agreed with me that it would give more political cover to raise property taxes more frequently in smaller incremental amounts if you did it every 2 years, which would be a lot more a sneaky way to do it. And that's not good for the citizens. There's nothing good about that for the citizens and hitting them. So I'm adamantly opposed to a 2-year reappraisal cycle. We are on a 5-year. In fact, over 60% of Tennessee counties are on a 5-year reappraisal cycle. So the majority of Tennessee counties are on a 5-year reappraisal cycle. So I would hope that this county would not entertain 2 years, because I think it's a terrible idea. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Michael Clark.
Came up quick with what I thought. Mike McClard, 102 Tioga Trail, Hendersonville. I'd like to speak about the city of Gallatin's outstanding parking garage. I've been listening to this for the last 2 or 3 months through the committees. Go after them. I mean, if they won't pay their bill, I mean, what would they do if you're not paying your bill at the house, at your home? Somebody's gonna come and collect it. So go get them. I understand during the clearing of the health department there in Hendersonville, and also in the middle of building the tennis courts, the electric power was cut evidently during the not the present school board or any of that. It's the previous. Evidently they tacked on to the health department's electricity to keep their lights and scoreboards up. I'm sure the county's been paying for that. I would recommend that they take care of themselves and the county take care of the health department when it's done. Also like to talk about the bridal house repairs. I would encourage you to pass that. I think as we try to keep what history that's not already been destroyed, I think it's very important to us. And as far as additional funding by the volunteer fire department, I live in one of the areas that is protected by the volunteer fire departments, and I wholeheartedly support that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Joanne Daniels.
Hi there, Joanna Daniels, 152 Shadow Haven Way North. I did just put library on there, but I wanted to speak about the property tax too thing real quick. So most of you know that I moved here from California, and we moved in December. And it was crazy because someone got a knock on the door at the beginning of January saying, "Hey, I'm here to assess your property." I was like, "What?" And we just got appraisal. Well, they said, "Oh, it went up $40,000." And I went, "In 2 weeks?" And I said, "Wow." And that's when I found out that in California you get taxed on what you paid for the house. Here they are on what they think you'll get for the house, which is really insane because I know people nowadays that bought their houses and they've actually lost money because the market's regulating. So I would say don't do that any more than 5 years. So anyways, as far as the libraries, I'm here to talk about the Hendersonville Library. We had an interim director named Kristen Lima that, to my knowledge, because I found out through an email, must have come to a budget meeting that myself and the treasurer did not even know about, saying that she wanted the Hendersonville Library to go from TLC to Atrium. Well, with Alicia Neighbors, who was the past director, we went through a whole big thing of why it is better for Hendersonville Library to stay with TLC. Reason being is because Atrium has never had a catalog as large as the Hendersonville Library. Also, it was going to be more cost effective. Also, what I found out in the notes was something about Mayor Clary giving money towards switching from TLC to Atrium if we had the library open another day. Now, I know I might sound like a broken record, but we have had 2 library directors say there's no need for an extra day for the Hendersonville Library. What I have come to this budget committee numerous times is saying, hey, Hendersonville might need more money because the turnover rate in Hendersonville is one of the highest. And the reason is because the people aren't getting paid enough to stay at the Hendersonville Library. So why are we going to try to have Mayor Clary give, I think it was $30,000 or $50,000 one time to open up a day, which the day is going to take over $130,000 for that one day, for a library that we haven't got any emails from the community saying they wanted it open another day. Both directors have said we don't need it open another day. But what we have asked numerous times is for money to give the employees that are overworked more money, but that keeps getting denied. The Hendersonville Library budget was actually cut last year, and this year it's not doing any better. So all of this happened in a meeting that Kristen Lima didn't let us know about. I don't remember getting an email about this decision even being made. Otherwise, we could have came and given input. But this is also stuff that we've already told this committee numerous times. And there is nothing in the law or standards, because standards, again, is not law. Those are suggestions. You remember like when the CDC was giving out suggestions about, closing down the schools for a really long time during COVID, and yet Tennessee said, no, we're not going to do that because we felt it wasn't best for the children. Okay, standards in Tennessee, the Tennessee state standards are just suggestions. If you can't afford to give the employees a raise to actually keep the people at the Hendersonville Library, why are we going to demand the county taxpayers to give more money for something that they're not asking for? At least have not sent anything to the library board. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Chris Shoemaker.
Chris Shoemaker, 1018 Silver Maple, up in Portland. So I know everybody has talked repeatedly over years about the volunteer fire department. So I want to introduce you guys to Plainville, Connecticut Fire Department. They are a volunteer fire department. They cover about 17,000 people over a 9 square mile area. Everybody knows what the fire department does. Everybody knows, it's an inherently dangerous job. We've all seen the stories with the news where somebody's killed in a collapse or whatever. Well, let me explain why the additional funding to the fire department is important. Because they're using that funding for whether it be apparatus improvements or stuff like that. So the reason I mentioned Connecticut's fire department, July 27th, so 2 weeks ago, early this morning, Plainville Fire Department was dispatched to a residential structure fire. During operations, one of our firefighters sustained a fatal injury. What happened was a piece of the apparatus broke off and hit that firefighter in the leg, caused massive trauma, and that's what killed him in surgery. So everybody knows that, putting on the turnout gear and running inside of a burning building is dangerous. We all know that. It's a job that we all signed up for. But to die due to an equipment failure because, the funding wasn't there, that's what we can stop that right here in this room. So that's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Curtis Williams.
Hello, how are y'all doing tonight? I actually have 2 requests, both, of course, fire department. I actually would really like to see the $400,000 get split up between the departments tonight. That would be wonderful. But actually greater to me is us to figure this out on a long term. We had it. It was passed by emergency services. It was passed by the ad hoc committee. It was even passed by legislative, a funding amount that was greater than what passed. What really matters to me is long term. I would really like to see an ad hoc committee. I know y'all did one through emergency services last year, but evidently it didn't have enough effect, or that whatever decision they came out with was not approved by the county commission. I would really like to see from this committee an ad hoc committee just to figure out, do we want to put the fire tax on a referendum? Do you want to force the fire departments to do the subscription model? Do you want to try to get the state of Tennessee to do the public subscription service to where you can, or a public utility service to where you can do that directly? Do you want to just do the nonprofit donations because it's the cheapest way to do it and to stay out of liability? The problem is we have 24 different commissioners, all have different ideas. You have 14 different fire stations, all with different ideas. We just need something to be settled. This has been going on for 12 years. I personally have been coming here for 12 years watching this. Every year it's different commissioners, different fire chiefs. Nothing ever gets accomplished. You can see just from, once again, the funding in the statewide. Sumner County is in the bottom 5 of the entire state when it comes to fire department funding. It's not even close. Y'all are one of the richest in the state, and yet it's the least funded. So if we can just have some type of committee or some type of special meeting, something to where we can get this fixed, to where I don't have to keep coming every year and we can just have this settled. However, I will put an asterisk next to it. The amount that has been added to tonight's budget committee is the same amount that we wanted to have with the contract. If you don't want to do that contract, that's fine, but at least the funding amount, there have been commissioners that have been to White House Volunteer and seen the difference between a well-funded fire department that's about $100,000 per station, it's not a crazy amount of money, compared to Oak Grove, Gallatin, Cottontown, and everybody else. If we can just get that little bit additional, we can have new trucks, we can have new gear, we can make sure we can actually have equipment that full-time firefighters do not feel bad volunteering because they're worried about making it home to their families after they make that volunteer fire call that's running 25, 30-year-old trucks. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Wayne Brown.
Wayne Brown.
Oh, sorry.
1120 North Corneth Road, Portland, and live in the Oak Grove District. Of course, work with the volunteer with Oak Grove Volunteer Fire Department. First off, at least getting through the commission the same amount that we got last year. This year, we appreciate that, but we still need to move forward. The $400,000 that I've heard is being considered, that helps us move forward. So we catch up on, like I've said several times, on maintenance and service, and just like we got a federal grant 5 years ago that replaced a large majority of our bunker gear, personal protective equipment. Well, we're halfway through the life of that gear, and as we're going the last couple of budgets, it's looking like we can start looking at having money so that when the 10-year service life of that gear runs out, we can start replacing it and not be having the firefighters there with outdated protective gear. The board for Oak Grove is looking at it, that there's some money there that we can catch up, like I say, on our service and maintenance that we need to be doing at a much more frequent period than we've been able to do with the money we've had. And so it definitely, this $400,000 helps us to get to where we should be. We're not going to get there this year, but if we can continue to move forward, that's great. And we appreciate it. And we'll be back next year probably asking for some more again. But like I say, we know we can't get it all at one time. We've got to work together and move it forward to where we can be funded adequately. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Tab Matthews.
Good evening, I'm Tab Matthews, Assistant Chief with Highland Fire. I'm not going to waste y'all's time. Pretty much I agree with everything you just said. You know, whatever, I kind of agree with Mr. Curtis Williams on, you know, we got to find the big picture solution. We, the Volunteer Fire Service, work for whatever that big picture solution is, whatever keeps us open so we can still do our job to protect the citizens we serve outside the city, whether it be fire tax or whatever. The only problem is stuff like that takes time. We're looking for solutions to help us bridge that gap between now and whenever that solution is figured out. We're running out of time. You know, things are getting more expensive when the main engine is out of service right now, and the part we had to order was a part about this big, and it was $1,000. So, you know, nothing's cheap in the fire service. Everything's continuing to go up. Our bunker gear goes up. There are grants available. We do our best and apply with them, but the downfall of the grants are with the federal level, there's a match. I think with most federal level grants for us, our size is 5%. So if we get a big expenditure item like a new fire truck, we're still going to have to pay minimum $20,000 or so, you know, to match that $500,000. That's a lot of money. The state grants, they're wonderful. They don't have a match. However, they're limited and they're very specific on what we can apply for. This year we got $22,000. That only bought us 5 sets of turnout gear. That's it. I got 25 members on roster. So grants are there. We're trying. They're very competitive, but they're not the solution. They're for luxury items that, you know, hey, we may need this, but you know, it's not a guarantee. You know, we're doing our best with fundraising. It only goes so far. We're volunteers as well. We spend a lot of time away from our families for free. I'm here for free tonight, spending time away from my wife and kid eating dinner. So, you know, all of us have jobs. We have families. So, you know, spending that extra weekend is a little harder, you know, to go do a fish fry or something like that. Some volunteer fire departments get good money out of it, some don't. It's once again, one of those unknowns. So, the funding that's been brought before the table tonight, that's gonna help us out greatly. We hope we continue stuff like that every year. But the goal is, or at least personally for me, and I think for our other fire chiefs, is to bridge that gap, try to figure out that solution between now and when the in-game solution is put together, whether it be the fire tax or whatever. So thank you guys for considering it tonight. I'll be here to answer any questions later. So we do appreciate it. We really do. Thank you all.
Thanks, sir. Mr. Kevin Baker.
Kevin Baker, 424 E.B. Wade Road. I thought it interesting, somebody brought up Connecticut Volunteer Fire Department, seeing as how I spent most of my adult life in the volunteer community up in Connecticut on a rescue team. It's the same way everywhere. But I will say this, if you look at a lot of the facilities and the equipment, a lot of the Connecticut equipment, it's higher end because the local communities bought into earmarking like special event funds. Like if they had the Durham Fair was a perfect one. It was a state fair in Connecticut. Most of that money that they raised went to pay for all the emergency services. So there's creative ways to fund these things that don't reach into all the taxpayers' pockets, but that's not what I want to talk about. I'd be willing to talk to some, I knew former chiefs and stuff, both volunteer firefighters and the ambulance, which I served in. But okay, so the money for the Merrill Hyde Magnet School, I think it's a great place to spend some of our money, seeing as how Merrill Hyde was the only high school in the top 25 in Tennessee from Sumner County. So I think they deserve to be rewarded. You look at it recently in the news feed that the top 25 high schools, Merrill Hyde was the only school in Sumner County. Reward. Regarding the reappraisal cycle, I think the former assessor knows where I stand about, I don't like the whole property tax idea anyways, I think it's regressive, but back when we were having this initial discussion, the former assessor was basically pushing for a 2-year appraisal, but then he said, and I'll get the exact quote, I think the words were, the county commission can't be trusted with a 2-year appraisal cycle, and he switched to 5 years. I'll get that video clip. The current county commission couldn't be trusted, that they would use it as a way to raise taxes for political reasons, you know, with a property tax increase. So I would leave it as long as possible. I think to charge people based on what somebody thinks a property is worth is regressive. You're going to tax people out of their houses, and that's just not right. That's not American.
Thank you, sir. Okay, that concludes our public comments. All right, we will go ahead and move forward. I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes for July 14th.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries unanimously. My report. Okay, let's start with the Hendersonville Library software. So is the request here just to pay the $20,000?
There was a discussion at the meeting that the library was going to use the different software, and they made the request
I remember
to
this.
keep the funds in their budget, and they were going to move it down into part-time employees and ask the city to match the same amount, and they were going to be open for a day. I don't see how the amount of funding they're going to save is going to open them for a day, but that was their proposal. They said they could rearrange things and do it. The reason we're bringing it back up is the actual software bill is up in our office to pay, so there was, I believe, it wasn't ever approved, and there's, you know, they switched personnel, so this is just to bring it back to the committee. So
Do we need to, my question is...
I don't think you need to do anything because there's no funding, but we did have staff, based on that proposal, ask the city if they were willing to do it, and the city said yes. So right now, somebody probably needs to let the city know that we're not going to be moving forward with this.
I'll give Mr. Clary a call. Go
Can I
ahead.
ask for clarification? So we're talking about two things. one, the software, and two, the extra days.
Well,
We're all together, one big
well,
discussion.
That was one big discussion, but what do we actually have to do today?
Nothing at this point. I think we
This
just
was,
need to.
we did what we were gonna do.
And the money's going to have to be paid for software, is my understanding, so it's really.
So it's really on the,
point.
on the library to pay that.
They've got it in their budget. They
That's
just don't have
right.
the
That's
extra
my
for
understanding.
the other stuff.
All right, I will let Mr. Clary know that we've taken no action on this.
I'll open it up.
I'm just curious, how did this apparently bypass the library?
I mean, let's
board?
be honest here, man. Like, I'm just so tired of this crap. Like, we've got fights on the library board. We know the library board's split halfway. Half of them want to do one thing, half of them want to do the other. I tried to put somebody on there who maybe bridge gap, didn't work. So, like, that's the truth. The truth is that one group wants to do one thing and they come and present one thing, and another group comes here and they want to produce something else, and we're stuck in the middle of it. That's what's going on, and so we're just going to leave with what we got.
I'm just trying to understand.
There's nothing to understand. I mean, that's what's happening.
But is the library board not supposed to present to us, do the
We have-
individual libraries?
There's
they
no
can-
library board, there is no library board, they are split 4-4 right now, so there's no consensus of what the library board wants. You have factions.
And if I can, I recall that day, and the interim was here, and we all engaged in a conversation with her, and it was an ongoing, organic conversation that we had. You were here, I was here, y'all were here, and it led to this. So as we were discussing it.
They asked to keep the money for the software cut and move it to part-time later. That's how the
what they did.
discussion got started.
That's right.
And then the question from the committee, if I recall properly, was what do you get for it?
Correct.
And it led down to the discussion.
Correct.
And ultimately, based on what we understood and the request was from here,
Correct.
we actually asked had an employee approach Mayor Clary and asked him.
Correct.
Our understanding was he was willing to.
Correct.
Go forward.
So here's the thing. I mean, look, the floor is up. We're moving, ma'am. We are moving. We have a budget approved. And unless if somebody has a motion to make a change to this, I will happily entertain it.
I don't have a motion, but I just want to make sure that we're clear on the software. Are we going ahead with the TLC, or are we gonna, because I know there's a big difference in those costs, and are you gonna need something from us?
We received the bill. There was money in the line that was going to be
Correct.
moved, so they're going to have to move it back or cover
Correct.
it if it's in there.
They'll have to take
So
care of
right
it.
now, that's an operational issue. That's a library issue.
That is correct.
They've got the bill, they made the bill, they're going to pay the bill.
That's correct. And if that means that they don't get the extra days or whatever that that is
We've got the bill up there and we're going to send it back to them.
That is
They're gonna have to
exactly.
handle it.
Does anybody have a problem with that?
I just have one question. Does the schools use Atrium?
Yes.
That's who to ask the library board member.
Anybody
She knows more
else?
about it. We just know what the bill we received and.
So in light of the fact that there is no director, nothing is going to go forward, and I spoke with Mayor Clary as well last week and told him as much. So we have a library board director, not library board director, but a library director in Hendersonville, that we can't buy the software. We could approve whatever, but I don't, it all hinged on giving them the 8 hours on Friday.
Mhm.
The extra $20,000 from the city of Hendersonville is for that, from 50 to 70 is for being open on that Friday. And Chairman Shove, you stated that we could take the difference for the software cost from the gift.
And correct,
And they
Oh,
were
that's
to
right.
come back and present. Well,
Correct.
she resigned.
correct.
So there was no presentation, so we have not gone forward.
Yeah.
So the bill needs to be paid, yes.
And Mayor Clary's aware that we're not moving forward right now. So
And
it's
I
all
will-
that
I will
way.
absolutely make him aware of the
He-
decision
yes.
from tonight.
Yes, he is aware.
Because I didn't want him out there
Any-
hanging and thinking.
Any other discussion on this? Look, I'm not trying to be short here. I'm just, there's this war going on, and it's, until that war is, whatever happens is done, there's no point in trying to make decisions for it. All right, any other,
So we're not in trouble for not paying it. They'll do it.
We're
they've got
gonna pay
they've got the funding.
That's all.
Can I understand one thing? Is there not a procedure we're supposed to be following with the library board? Do we deal directly with the libraries, or do we deal directly with the library
Well,
board?
we're supposed to deal with a unified, with a representative of the board, but there have been no quorums, there has been no director, we don't have the things that we're supposed to have, and so we can't deal with it.
So did
So
we make a deal with
We've
Hendersonville?
passed a budget, and here's what I'll do, do you wanna go and, we're in this no man's
I
land.
just want to understand, man.
I don't understand. We're humans. What's to understand is that we're humans and we're monkeys and we're going, that's what's happening. Okay, so, anything else on this one? Parking garage elevators. Mr. Long on this.
Let me just, or Mayor, the one, it's $1,100 a month, he's gonna add in, he's got in his budget. It's 5 years, he's asking for approval to go into commission, subject to legal approving the terms or amending them to get to the correct terms, but the cost will be the same in the term. Let
Okay.
legal amend anything necessary before Monday.
Legal has already made a suggestion to TKE, we just have not got it back from them yet.
So there's no.
So it's subject to that, and legal will give me final.
You have the amount, which is 1,100, 5 years, which will say the same. The only things left is for the vendor to comply with.
We have a
the request
motion.
and then it'll move forward.
I'll second it. Mr. Klein.
Who's TKE and what?
Elevator maintenance.
Elevator maintenance. Did we, is that who we've dealt with the entire time?
We're adding them on, yeah.
Yes,
It's an add-on.
Is this just the garage elevator, or is this,
just garage. It's just adding garage elevators on because they're out of
is it
warranty.
the same people that do the elevator maintenance that we saw before?
Okay, so this is a totally new thing.
Yeah, because you got elevator maintenance this year.
Right, so it was good for a year or 6
Yeah,
months?
there's a warranty on the parking garage. This is for parking garage.
Okay, so this was gonna come up anyway. And did we get more than one price, or did we just take in TKE's?
We're just adding it on the TKE's contract.
We already
Because
have
they
a
already
contract in
service
the
our-
courthouse.
We bid the original, Dave.
I see,
This
so
is an add-on.
TKE's doing the courthouse service for the elevators, and this is just an add-on? Because they also put in the elevators, both buildings.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries unanimously. County clerk, this is, so this is a 5-year, I think it's a 5-year lease. Man, I really.
motion to approve.
Motion to approve, second. I want to approve it, but man, I really need to get in the copier business. This is, I mean, it's a copier, man. It's a copier. All right, motion to approve, second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries unanimously. Okay, this one came out of legislative, Mr. Mayor. I need to ask this. So last month, we discussed the 3-star grant. I asked for some clarification on if there was anything that needed to be done. You said that there was not. Mr. Mansfield brought up in the last meeting, we wanted to understand what the purpose of it was, and it was kind of vague in general. I have not read this, and I'm not throwing any stones. I understand that there was a newspaper article that went out that it was that this was for a conference center. That this is to lay the foundation for. Is that what's the purpose of it? Maybe.
Yeah, it's a 3-star grant that the 3-star program is the governor's CCD program. Bringing stakeholders, they identify 3 goals with those stakeholders. From those goals, they develop a plan. It's done through ECD, and then they apply for a grant. So what this money will be spent for is for the portal, for workforce development. Then a portion will be used for the innovation center. That's if it's approved. And then they want to talk about some type of strategic plan. Do we want a conference center in Sumner County? And that's
Okay.
basically it.
So let me, because I want to ask this one just because it's in my district. Is this specific to the conference center concept that was just killed by Bono?
No,
It doesn't have anything to do with that. Okay. Any other questions?
I didn't support that idea.
Okay, the timing of it was interesting,
Right.
so. Okay, any other questions on this? All right, hold a second. Get a note here. All right, Mr. Mayor, your report.
No report, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Mr. Long.
Item A is the financial statement memo. We will have the books closed August 31st. 2025. Shortly after that, they will be posted on the website and available to all commissioners. If a commissioner would need a hard copy, just let us know. Everybody else.
Okay.
Item B, and that goes on to the county commission. Item B is transfers, no new money, and the first one is $5,000 for job posting for finance director.
So, I'm gonna move to approve this, but I'm gonna get him on cue. Motion in a second, so I'm gonna get him on cue here. So we have this, and we have this $50,000 for the director search. I mean, we're running out of time here. What is this? So this 5,000 is for a job posting on. I'm fine to do both of these, by the way. Like, this is for a job posting in like local newspapers.
No, it's Indeed, the
Just a
GFO,
broad
it's a
blast.
broad group
Okay.
of them, yeah.
All right,
So-
got it. Any questions on
And
this?
there's actually a brochure that's been developed and.
And this is the continental United States?
Yes, it'll cover.
Yeah.
Well,
All right.
Will it?
Yeah,
National?
yeah, because there's that one, the HR website, and then you got the
Okay.
GFOA, it goes national too, several of them.
All right. Any questions on this one? Did I move to
Same with
approve
this,
this?
you got.
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
The second
Seconded.
from Mr.
All in
Harris.
favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries unanimously. General sessions, this is, was a request from, well, go ahead.
It's a retirement of an employee,
Yep.
there's comp time payout. The judge has enough money to cover the rest of the year and the comp time payout, she just needs to make an adjustment.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The next one.
Motion
Have a
carried.
nice night.
Sheriff's Office, this was a little more complicated, but go ahead.
At the commission floor, there was a motion made to add additional monies to the sheriff's department or the sheriff's budget. Your appropriation resolution has major categories determined by
Yep.
state statute. They have sheriff and they have jail. So I think the commissioner's intent and the sheriff's was to put some of the money in the sheriff's
And some in.
office and some in the jail. So our solution right now is to move 70,000 in deputies, then move it over to the jail like was the intent. It's a transfer between major categories and it just needs to go to county commission. And it-
Motion in a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, just looking at Mr. Craddock back there, making sure we didn't do something wrong on that one. Okay, moving to old business. I've got an update on the city of Gallatin. I don't have as much of an update as I would like. I'm awaiting a document. So I spoke with Mayor Brown on Friday, and she had mentioned that the city of Gallatin is intending to cut us a check. However, they are going to deduct things that the city of Gallatin believes that we owe them. So, I had a round number, and I won't mention that round number because I don't want to start a war.
I think there were some permits.
There were some
and
things-
Some different pieces along the whole project.
There was more than that.
Yeah,
But,
it's very,
so,
they went back.
my point here is that there is I don't want to take, I was prepared to take action on it tonight, but I have not, I have asked Ms. Brown for documentation on exactly line item for what what they think we owe them, or they think they owe us. And we will decide what to do. Without objection, I think we leave this where it is and we await that documentation, then we decide what to do with it.
And without throwing a number out, it is a significant.
Oh, it
number.
is a significant cut.
I
I have-
have been aware of, yes, that this was,
And I remember something about discussions. For me, it's been a discussion a long time back, but I have to do. the
Well,
documentation.
I mean, you know what, I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut. We'll just wait for it to come and deal with it as it comes. Unless there's objection, anybody wants to do anything now. Okay, moving on. Reappraisal cycle, so,
Let me tell you what I've been asked about the reappraisal cycle.
I would gonna ask that, and then I'm gonna ask our county mayor why he wants to tax us more.
Well, no, that's not the reappraisal cycle I was asked about, and there's one advantage to having a short reappraisal cycle. There's a thing called an equalization ratio that on the second and the fourth and fifth year, the second year gets hit the first time, and then the fourth and fifth, it gets increased the fourth and it hits those. You actually, based on the market value, they decrease all your personal property, which are on businesses, and your utilities. It has no realization in reality, it just decreases it based on the market. If you were on a much shorter cycle, you would not lose those funds and have that issue.
can I ask you?
Well, just,
That's
I'll
what's happening.
have him, just to put it out on there, and I'm glad Mr. Becker isn't here, because he would hate on me for this, but I'd entertain a motion to discuss this.
Motion to discuss.
Second. and Mr., well, you're in queue and then Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
So if I could just make sure I understand this correctly, the entities that we give the ratio, the equalization payment to, the residents are subsidizing them in effect.
Their argument is their property is brought on real property and market value and then it's depreciated. But if you start looking at it, 1 year you come in and you have their value, let's just make up a round number. Say the second year, they're all of it's $1 million. Nothing was purchased, nothing was depreciated, nothing was changed. The next year is probably gonna come into the equalization ratio at $850,000. And then you're gonna come back 2 years later, if nothing else changes, you're gonna be hit by whatever the growth is, you're gonna be hit again. The equalization ratio disappears in the shorter appraisal cycles.
So when
And those are the
it,
small numbers, they're much larger than that.
when it was at the state last year and the comptroller was pushing it through, the lobbyist that came around to the legislators and asked them to not push it through said it was a tax increase. And that's why they didn't push it through. And you want me to tell you who the tax increase was on? It was on the people that get the equalization payments, the ratio payments. They were gonna stop getting the ratio payments and in effect, not get the subsidy from the residents.
So well, Mr. Mayor, you go ahead and then I've got a comment on
Did
this.
I get it
but-
right?
Yeah, basically they're getting a discount in the second, third, fourth, and then it's equalized. It's called a sales ratio. But I can tell you that there is absolutely no discussion of going to a 2-year. The assessor has to initiate that program.
I was
Okay.
joking earlier about.
Yeah, oh, well, that's fine, that's fine. The assessor has to initiate
I hope
it.
I
They
was
have to
joking.
write the plan for it, and then that has to be approved by the State Board of Equalization. Our assessor has no intention of looking at a shorter reappraisal cycle at this time.
Okay, so I don't know that there's anything we need to do here, but I did want to make one comment, and this is actually a totally different discussion I had with Mayor Brown, which was a very interesting discussion after this last reappraisal. And I want to bring this up, and I brought it up before because this property tax is a bit nuanced. If you look across the board in Sumner County, if your taxes, or excuse me, if your property value went up more than the average, your property taxes will go up. If your property value went up less than the average or went down, you will be taxed less because it's going off of I mean, this is broad strokes here, but in general, this is the statement. So the question here is, which homes appraised more on a percentage-wise basis? The smaller homes. So, there was a comment earlier that that property taxes are regressive. This is true. They are regressive, and two, on average, not every small home appraised more, but on average, the smaller homes appraised more on a percentage-wise basis. It's much easier for a $300,000 house to go to a $400,000 house, a 33% increase, than a $1 million house to go to $1.3 million, right? So that's just more, one is more common than the other. So if you think about that, we have the last reappraisal, and this is mathematically correct, I have checked it, we have shifted more tax burden from the wealthy onto the less wealthy. So I don't know that the reappraisal cycle actually fixes this. It has to do with the structure of what's done here. But it's really important to understand that as we keep doing this, if there are no changes to it, the overall tax burden is going to continue to be pushed to less and less wealthy people. It's a very interesting phenomenon and one that I'm not particularly fond of, but it is mathematically true. Mr. Klein.
Chairman Schoaf, I had a conversation with the Gallatin mayor about this, and what you're saying she concurs with, that in Fairview Plantation, a lot of the tax burden went down.
Yeah.
And she said it had to do with comps, comp assessments.
Right.
And because we have the former tax assessor, she said this was a state law. The way these properties are assessed is according to the state. There's nothing we can do about it.
That is correct.
That's correct.
Well, it's a statistical analysis that's done. So there's several statistical tests that run. And when you start talking about being regressive or progressive, that is one of the tests that's run. It's called the price-related differential. And you have to hit certain state standards on that. And all the ratios, you have to hit certain benchmarks that are both a state standard and the IAAO, what they call the international standard, which they pretty much mirror. So there are ratios you have to hit.
But, I mean, I don't know if there's anything to be done here. Maybe it makes sense at some point, and I do want to move this forward. Maybe it makes sense to actually draft something up. I mean, we want to petition the state about a bunch of things to
I was told
to
it was
change
killed
this.
at the state level. The lobbyists for the people that get the equalization payments, they smashed it.
Well, I don't know that this is a reappraisal cycle thing. This is a
Okay.
different, this is
No,
a,
you want to change the formula.
yeah, I want to, but it's hard to think about how to do that, right? I mean, it gets, anyway, we can talk about this later. I just wanted to bring that interesting analysis to light.
Yeah, that
I would
formula.
just like to say for the record, it's ridiculous that we continue to burden those that are least able to pay the burden, if that's actually what's happening. And I would want to work with you on that because I don't fully understand it.
Well, I don't either, but I
But
do know
there's-
that part of it is,
There's something radically wrong with
Yeah.
that system.
I agree.
any other notes on this one? We will move along here.
Do you want this to drop as reappraisal
I
cycles?
don't know
or
that
old
we need to, is
business?
there any reason why we can just, without objection, let's just remove that. Okay, holdback policy, Ms. Boyd,
Mr. Chairman,
oh, go ahead.
I would like for that to be referred back to financial management, so that
Holdback?
we can talk about this a little bit more. I'd like to present an idea to the financial
there a-
management committee that I think is a solution
Okay.
going forward.
All right, we have a motion. I'll second it just to discuss. I'm not saying I'll necessarily vote for it, but, okay, Ms. Boyd?
So I think Mr. Long also had new ideas. If it goes to financial management, we'll discuss it there, but then it just comes back here.
Well, it'll come back here, but I think it'll come back here, hopefully in the final form.
Can I just, well, Mr. Klein, were you in queue?
No, you go ahead.
I would
think
just
you're
want to
gonna
know
ask
what
the issue.
like the 10,000-foot view of the solution is that you propose.
So what we have is, we have effectively fixed the problem when we started the holdback on all new employees. So we have a finite number of people that this is affecting. And we can just work that out over time. Because the problem that you have with you getting caught, where, say, they quit on a Tuesday and they get paid through Friday, won't happen on people that are already on the rolls. It
Right.
happens to those that have not built up time, those that have not been here for a while. So to be punitive to those that have been here for a while, when we could just simply, we've got a finite list, that list is not gonna change. They're gonna drop off over time. How long it takes, I don't know.
Well, but I guess the question is, would we pay them out there complete?
No, because when they leave, most of them will leave at the end of a payroll period. Or they'll announce a retirement, they'll leave at the end of the payroll period, and it'll all work out then.
Well, that last part I'm not fully following. What do you mean? What it means, so let's say that they leave at an end of a payroll period and they've accrued X number of days. Would we just remove those X number of days at the end of their, okay, I can get that. That's what you're,
He's saying continue the way
Let's
we
get
are.
him
So
in
what
there.
happens right now is and you, say we don't have any new employees, if somebody quits, we pay you on a Thursday through a Friday.
okay?
We know you're working through Friday, we're fine. If you have accumulated vacation or comp
Yep.
time, it's a moot point. So rarely we ran into the situation where an employee quits and they're a day or two short. But as the mayor's saying, since you've stopped and all the new employees have to have a holdback, you're only gonna have your more longer longevity employees. Most of those, by and large, have accumulated vacation time.
So you
Like
would
when
just.
I'm leaving, I'll have
so-
6 or 7 weeks.
but my point here is that you would, if you had gotten paid, let's say you gotten paid 5 days in advance, and you'd accrued 20 days.
A
We
vacation.
would give you the 15.
Yes.
So we're saying the same
And
thing.
most employees tell their supervisor anyway if they're
Okay.
retiring or long-term ones. So they're saying, hey, I'm only gonna work till Wednesday, we only pay
And
you Wednesday.
Ms. Boyd?
And so, I agree with this completely, but my only concern is that we're doing a lot of manual stuff because we're we want Kronos in and we want it all automated, but imagine this, we have an automated system that we are accruing time that hasn't even occurred yet. So the problem is that we're making a lot of manual work. We heard the road supervisor telling us he doesn't have time to pick it, for anybody to answer his phones correctly, and he's having to do a lot of this manual. We're trying to, every week, we're calculating what that is, or every two.
How much of how much of a burden is it to keep?
He's got the whole back in the sheriff, but you can't fully implement automation until
Till
there's
we're
a whole
there.
back. So what we're doing right now is for the
How many are we?
It's about 200 and some employees, but it's gonna shrink every day. So there's that solution or other potential solutions, but the other solutions
let me
are
ask you
all
this.
dollars or effective.
Let me ask you this one. Is this the thing that's holding us up to implement Kronos completely
There are
right now?
several
Well,
things.
right, but I'm asking, is this the
That's-
blocker?
That will be a blocker once you get through
Is
the
it-
rest of your departments, right? This
But
point,
right,
we're
so
still-
right now,
Right now, we're
I'm of
making
the-
EMS and sheriff.
I'm of the
upload on the
opinion
next
that
page.
until it's because I actually like this solution, and until, once it's, look, once it's the blocker, in my opinion, once it's the blocker, we address it. If we get to the point where we've got 50 people left and we've got every other department ready to go, and we
We'll
can't
address
move
those
forward,
50.
then we can address those 50. But, I mean, that makes, what you just
Yeah.
said, see, I'm gonna.
Let me
I'm
make
gonna-
sure you understand what I'm saying, like, for instance, finance or the mayor's office. Right now, it's going to prevent direct upload. We've got them in Kronos. What we do is guess on your second week of the Excel sheet and
Yes.
adjust it. We're going to have to continue to do that until everybody's gone. Basically, we're going to.
Why would you have to do
assign-
that with everybody?
These offices, like my office, doesn't have any new employees since it started. The mayor's doesn't, so that's what's gonna have to happen. Sheriff, no. EMS, no. Highway, they already got holdbacks. But it's gonna prevent those from automating, but I'm very pragmatic because other than waiting it out like the mayor say, there's only two other solutions. One is to come up with dollars, or number two, you're gonna affect somebody's payroll in a negative way. There's only three solutions, or wait it out. That's your
I mean,
only solutions.
this is one of these that is, I'm sorry, I know this will be more pain on the finance department, I get that to a degree, but like, it seems like it's bearable pain.
We'll just continue to do it. This is going to stop. Everybody understand we're not gonna fully
You got-
automate.
and yellow-
We'll fully automate sheriff, EMS, highway, anybody that's got a holdback will be fully automated.
Seriously, if it's pain that can't be borne, tell me.
Let me tell you, almost 17 years ago, I asked us to start holding back then. At this point, if we would've been doing the holdbacks, all the legal office would've had a holdback, all the mayor's office would've had a holdback. So that's the thing is, at least we started with the solution. It's
All right.
nothing that's not unbearable, I
The
can tell you.
motion's to kick it back to finance.
Well, yeah, no, I
Finance
just want, and
management,
I'm
so-
debating, and I seconded it, and I want to know because I'm leaning toward approving it, but I want to hear from the people who are going to be hurt here that
We have
they're not
done
gonna,
it
y'all aren't going to want to
for-
stab me.
We've done it for 17 years.
All right.
And I've talked to the county officials, they are behind this plan, if we can work it out,
Mr.
So
Klein?
just wait.
I'd like
which is
to know
that
from the
finite
chair
list.
of the
Everybody
finance,
new gets held back.
if she's in favor of this.
She's
Ms.
not.
Ms. Boyd?
And a little-
Are you in favor of sending it back to your committee?
Well, I mean,
So if y'all can pass a solution now, I
If we
don't
go with it
want to
now,
go back.
it'll be a lot better.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I'm
I
good
withdraw
with
my
it.
motion.
No, that's what, your motion is to,
Because-
If she's saying fix it now.
well, I was about to amend
Really
it,
just-
so
And the
Kill everything,
financial
already done
management
it.
will still be
I make a
doing
motion to
the
go with
same
the,
thing.
to go with county mayor's plan up till the point where
Can
we may need to fix
We'll
it.
revisit it. when
Yeah.
it's painful.
Pragmatic is just to kill the motion right now because you've already done the whole back.
That's fine. Let's just, then, we'll,
You just kill
here's the
it, it's
thing.
gone.
Because
And
Mr.
then-
Long will not be around, let's bring this, when this becomes the blocker for full implementation of our automated system, let's bring it back up.
So
Other
which
than let's let it
department's
die.
gonna block us first?
Well, the ones we've already got in there is gonna stop full animation, automation, full automation. It's been a long
It's
time.
getting late already.
You're the animator.
That's right.
I make a motion, we kill it for now,
We can just,
and we'll bring it back to
Yeah.
financial management in the spring and analyze it.
that's fine. Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right,
So
sweet.
we're removing it.
We're removing it. Okay, this one's very important. we probably should have done this a couple months ago.
Yep.
I move to approve, I'll move to approve, up to $50,000 finding of a finance director. I understand it may actually cost a little bit more. but
Second.
Motion, we have a motion and a second.
Didn't we already deal with this under B one A?
These are different things. So one of these is a blast out, just looking for folks, and the other one is hiring somebody to, are we gonna do a background check on them? Like, those types of things that need to be done if we're gonna bring somebody on is not handled with that $50,000.
We can do a
$5,000.
background check, but we've never done a search for like.
I like the idea of the
Social.
recruiting firm because they know what we,
I-
I'm not an HR and there's
Okay.
24 of us commissioners.
We are 90 days out from
We're
this.
nobody.
Like all,
There's no
my opinion is all
HR.
hands on deck.
Yeah,
Okay,
throw
so-
everything at it.
So my question is, if we're gonna do a hiring, a recruiting firm, why are we gonna post it on Indeed?
Do both, because maybe we'll get somebody good. We're
can
90
back
days
up.
out. I mean,
Don't
I don't
blame you,
like.
Don't blame me.
I've been telling you.
I blame me for being the guy who drove them away.
Question, no, it's retirement time. You guys aren't, probably time to retire. you
Hairdressers
know.
and quick mark people.
You were
I
not.
mean, you really.
Same question comes up. If you guys are gonna hire a firm, what firm do you wanna hire? There's a bunch of.
Do we need to, well, that's the question. I mean, let's just,
But the mayor.
let's
does
just,
everything.
look, I don't want to get into that fight right now. I just want to get this approved so we can get somebody out here. And I'll let that battle play out.
Well, you're gonna, if I may, you're gonna keep bringing this back to committee, so you need to give somebody some authority to make some decisions. And by all
Well,
means, whatever is the
is
will of
it
the
my-
committee
well, here's
is,
the thing, is
but
it-
who knows better than the finance director who ought to be looking for his
Well,
replacement?
yeah, but so once again, what I don't want to have happen here, and I'm gonna state this. I don't care if it's the county mayor or I put these things out there. I don't care if it's county mayor, and I don't care if it's the
I'm
financial
just
manager.
talking about the 50,000. You can appropriate it all day long until you give somebody the
Well, then
the
let's
authority
just
to
get
pick
it.
somebody
Then
and
let's
to
just
move
get
it.
Then let's just get it appropriated.
Let's
just get it
Who do you
appropriated.
want to do it though?
I
I mean,
that-
who do you
that
want to
will-
reach out to the
Program
headhunter?
commission budget.
Well, right now, the finance department can reach out to the head.
That's all I'm
We don't
saying,
need,
get some
we don't
clarity
need to,
on
we
that.
just get, okay, so we don't, this would be for an appropriation, that's handled the same way that every other appropriation is handled. The finance department reaches
How
out to
about
it.
finance just reaches back and works with the mayor finding a firm that everybody's comfortable with?
But how much time?
If we're gonna appropriate it Monday, and there's 90 days, and you probably need to be doing it Tuesday. I don't know what
Yeah,
else,
I
mean-
call the mayor Tuesday and we start hunting somebody.
All right, here's what we do, here's what I'm gonna, here's my motion. Man, all right, we wanna have this one. Here's what I'm gonna do. I make a motion that finance works with the mayor to find a, to find a, headhunting firm that they will then present to financial management. That's my
Are you doing
motion.
that as a motion or
That's,
amendment to your own
that's,
motion?
I'll just withdraw and make my own change my own motion here that I appropriate
You're
$50,000.
adding another month to it. Just,
Well, they can call a special hearing. I'm just trying to avoid this
Just
to
that
get us
one Wednesday, I
moving.
believe, at the
And
commission.
the only, when you say who should choose, I agree. I totally depended on David to go and find us a recruiting firm. Because one, maybe he's not in retirement, maybe he's been looking for a job. Maybe he's familiar with some headhunters. I don't know, maybe. But I did like that contract that he pulled in, and he said that they were a great contract and a great firm. We don't have anything else on the table. Our time is run. I've been,
There's not a
I've
second
been-
to my motion now. Or is there, are you good with it? Are you gonna second it?
and your motion is
My motion is
just
to appropriate the
appropriate.
50,000.
They go find us somebody.
They go find somebody and then they'll bring it to financial management. We can have this
and we'll
fight
vote
later.
on it. I'm fine, I'll second.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries unanimous.
We'll see if it's a
All right,
It'll be, will it be, just to add into that, I know we voted, will that be professional
I
service?
don't know, we're gonna have to look at it close, see if we need an RFQ.
I'll let these guys get,
Y'all figure it out.
they got those details and y'all can.
That was the mayor's question last time.
All right, we have a motion to group and approve A through D. Any,
I have a comment.
okay, I'll second it, but go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm
Ms.
good
Ford.
with these things. I'd just like to have an additional request. Regarding the electric meter, I have spoken in financial management a couple of times about the electric bills. And I know these two are probably here talking about electric bills. But I would like just to ask finance to bring us a list of electric bills by location, because I wonder if we don't have other instances that we might want to look at that might be similar.
We'll see, that one was on health department. We can just get that, yeah.
Can we get just that?
But my big question on item B, what are you approving as
Oh,
a?
yeah, hey, what, I guess I do have a question here before, I might withdraw my, what was the outcome of, because it said pending general ops.
Here's what my understanding is, and they can tell me differently.
The motion is to group and approve. If you don't want to do that, we need to pull that
Okay,
back.
I'll pull it back, let's just go one by one, because I just want to answer that question.
I can tell you what I know right now.
Well, wait, we gotta do the, we'll get it. Just like, let's do Board of Education lease agreement, do I have a motion on that one?
Motion.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Let me start with the history.
We can do a quick history, then I'll, if, without objection, I'll call the Chair of Gen Ops up, and then we can make a.
Here's what
Motion to discuss.
Motion to discuss.
Second, all in favor? Okay, go ahead.
Here's what I understand. I was approached because when they were working on the health department, they removed the connection, which nobody was aware of, to the health department with the fields over at Merrill Hyde Magnet. The schools asked, I think initially to hook them back in, but my understanding, talking to Dustin, the state said no, it's their building. Plus, I told them I did not have the authority to hook, to Dustin, told them I didn't have the authority to hook back into those utilities. Number two, they asked us if we could pay for them to hook back up to Merrill Hyde. My other one is that's not part of the health department project. I do not have the authority. That should be a different project if approved. At that point, it was sent to Gen Ops, and then we have the Gen Ops here to talk about what their ultimate decision is.
Without objection, well, motion to suspend the rules to allow.
Motion to suspend the rules to let Mr. Mansfield.
Second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Basically, what came out of Gen Ops unanimously was a motion to split the meters. The school installs their own and the school pays for their own. To do anything different, according to our finance department, would actually set back the health department building, and we'd actually have to go back to the state because it would change the scope of work to do anything differently. So you're going to mess and potentially jeopardize even finishing the health department if you did.
Do we have a number on what it would cost to split that?
We can't hook it back. I think it's $10,000 for them to run it separately.
But the motion that came out of Gen Ops recommendation was, that we approved unanimously, was to split the meter. The school installs their own and they bear the cost for it. Because, or do anything else is going to screw up the health department construction project.
Okay.
And you have to go back to the state with changes and it jeopardizes.
Is there-
The amount was inconsequential at that point because.
I'll bring us back into order, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Well, I'll move forward with the Gen Ops recommendation. Is there a second?
A second.
Motion to second, Ms. Boyd?
Just to clarify, they're just gonna get their own meter.
Yes. That's what
$10,000 are we gonna pay to put their meter on? Is that what we're doing?
That was the school's request.
Their
that we would pay
request?
for
It
it?
was rejected out of Gen Ops.
It was rejected
So the,
because the state would not pay for it.
I'll talk
It would
to,
have to be local.
I'll talk to our education department. We gave them $6 million. They can
What I-
probably come up with 10,000.
Well, my understanding is we cannot include it as part of the health department project, but you could fund it separately if you chose to. It can be part of that
I've got
project.
it. I'm sure they can come up with it. If it comes up to be a huge thing, this is not the end of the world. I'm not opposed for us doing it, but let's see if they can do it first. And
Can be part of that.
I would.
is there any
I just want to say that I would think that the school has an easy tap to run a conduit from the closest lamp and scoreboard.
Is anything gonna break if we,
No.
to put this, all right, I'll talk with it. I would like for them to pay it. Is there any objection to deferring this for a month?
Just a quick question.
Go ahead.
When's Merrill Heights first soccer?
Well, they're-
Might be a good question to ask.
Yeah, that was.
Are they gonna, would they not
I
have?
don't know if they play fall ball.
They can get a generator.
I mean, here's the thing, if it comes up, I mean, we can bring it up on the floor.
We'll probably have them.
Bring it up on the floor.
They can get a generator.
They
If
probably
it-
have a
All right.
generator.
If it.
Did you need a second?
He seconded it. I'll make this pledge. If it comes to be that we're gonna have a problem with the soccer team, and that people won't be able to play, I'll bring it up for consideration on the floor. I never bring up something that doesn't happen here, because I don't wanna override my committee, but I'm gonna say that, I'm gonna try to move this. But I will personally bring it up if it's gonna cause a problem. All right?
Fair enough.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries unanimously. Okay, bridal house repairs. Motion to approve, second, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries unanimously. Item D, Atlas Service Agreement, multi-year. Any, is there a motion to approve? Motion to approve, I'll second it, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Volunteer Fire Department. Mr. Harrison, your motion, what was your specific motion on the floor?
Specific motion was to approve $400,000 one-time funding.
So out of capital? That was the question I had, because we don't have, I wanted to know where it comes
Whatever Mr. Lauren
from.
told me that night, you tell me.
Well, it can't come from capital, because that's be capital and capital wipeout.
Yeah, this is the rub,
It'd have to come from your county general fund.
and that's a chunk from general, because capital is a little different. So, all right, so that your motion is 400,000 from the county
Well,
general.
no, that was my motion on the floor. I'm actually gonna-
Well, but you deferred that same motion to here, so we have to consider it.
Okay.
So that's,
I'm gonna move to amend my own motion.
okay, so let's do this. Motion, man, I'm glad Jerry Becker isn't here. Let's do motion to discuss.
Motion to
Motion
discuss.
discuss, second, all in favor? Aye. Now would you like to make that amendment?
Sure.
Okay.
My motion is to amend to send to legislative in September to petition the state to ask for a referendum on fire tax.
Second. I will second that. And just to be clear, this would be a referendum only for the, for those out in the county, because I don't have a dog in that fight, you know?
I think he's petitioning them to change the statute to allow for a referendum.
That's correct.
Because right now, my understanding is there's no
All right,
allowance. for
I'm gonna
referendum.
second that.
Changing the statute.
I have a separate item,
Well,
but I don't wanna close this down before I have my item.
we'll do.
It's
Is
fire-
it, is it,
it's
is
fire
it,
department.
is it, go ahead, if
So,
it's closely related, that's
I'd
fine.
like, us to consider inviting the CTAS fire specialist to come and discuss where we're at the state level. Because we've heard things and then other people deny them.
They
And
could come to the legislative committee meeting. I don't think that would be.
if that would be where you'd like them to go, yeah.
Sure.
Yep.
Maybe, does
Will-
legislative meet the same night as health and emergency? Because I'd like health and emergency actually needs to, if they could be together the same night, I think that gentleman should speak to both.
No, they're not the same night. Legislative
If
was
we could
prior to this
maybe-
one.
Maybe we could invite
Do a
them.
joint meeting, I mean.
Yeah, a
this-
joint meeting, because that gentleman should speak to both.
Well, let's do two, let's dispose of this one, and we're still in a motion to discuss.
Okay.
So is there any further discussion on petitioning for, just to see that we can put a referendum out there?
So this is a referendum in the next voting
This
cycle?
is, let's be clear, this is a step in that direction. The first thing we need to do
I don't
is,
think you get it in
is
time,
to
because you gotta go to the state, and they're not.
is to petition the state to say, hey, we would like to put out to a referendum to ask a question. And then they would give us the,
I think you're asking the state to change the state law to allow for a referendum for fire taxes. Right now, the state law doesn't
Well, we
provide
could-
for a referendum for that. So you're asking.
could we do it with a private act?
I think you need to
No,
ask the state to change
here's
the
the
law.
problem. A referenda is statutorily guided, and it says you can only do a referenda item if a statute allows you to do it. It provides for it. It does not for fire taxes. So you would be asking
Well,
the
we-
state to change the statute.
I get that, and this is where I was kind of arguing with you guys on the floor. We're not asking the citizens, we're not going and saying, do you approve a fire tax?
I understand that, but you're asking for something to be put on with the election commission to hit the ballots.
We are asking a question for guidance. does the public in general support the idea of a fire tax? That's what we're asking.
Opinion.
We're asking for opinion and guidance of the citizens. We're not putting forward a fire tax of 50 cents.
I don't disagree with you, but it's still a balloting item. It's got to get on the ballot, and then you've got the election commission to deal with then. So it's gonna be very important what the statute says. You wanna do a Facebook posting that says,
No,
hey,
no, no,
citizens,
no.
what do you
This is way,
think?
like, this is way too, look, I'm gonna just, because I'm the one that brought this up. And here, I hate saying this, Mr. Williams, who spoke earlier, I was nodding my head like, look, this is a thing that has been kicked down, we're growing out there more than we should. And all an additional $400,000 or $200,000, all we're doing is just putting Band-Aids on something. And I personally would never want to vote on a tax for somebody outside of my district without knowing what the people want.
I don't disagree with you.
That's all
I'm
we're
just
trying
telling
to
you what the
get
law
at.
says.
Because we're trying to solve a problem.
I get it.
So, all right, so what you're asking for is to petition the state? Okay. I seconded it, I'm good with it.
And I'm totally confused now. We can't do what you're.
We're petitioning the state to allow, to
change the
the statute to allow us to put this to a referendum. That's step one. Then if they do that, step two would be to put it to a referendum. So this is gonna be a 2-year process, but we're trying to actually solve a problem.
Would it not be better and more expedient? Mr. Curtis also talked about having an ad hoc.
We tried that, and by the way, Mr. Hyde spoke and Mr. Mansfield had a wonderful idea. I thought it was the best idea that we've had to put this into to form not a utility, but a subscription model. Thank you. I thought it was a great idea, but it didn't get anywhere. So, like, I mean, if we want to bring that back up, I'm fine to do it. I'd support it, but I'm also in support. I just want to solve the problem.
Yeah, I agree.
We can't dictate that. That's a VFD option.
Well, you are right, and they are certainly free to do that. But we could definitely tie any funding we.
No, I don't disagree. I'm just letting you know it's not a resolution item unless you make their funding conditional.
Here's the
upon
problem.
that.
Here's the problem we ran into with that. Was that what and this was me thinking through Mr. Mansfield's idea, that what I was thinking about was tying any additional funding to a 1-year plan, such that like that they needed to be on that subscription model after a certain amount of time, maybe 1 year, 18 months, something. I wanted to do that, but then we had if you recall, we had the discussion of, well, at that point you're putting your thumb on this other organization. Are you not just kind of subsuming that organization, right? I mean,
Creating a fire department.
You're creating a fire department by proxy, I think was basically the argument. So that spooked everybody. Clearly it's possible to be done because it's done elsewhere. I don't know how they did it, but volunteer fire departments could of their own accord do it right now. But they haven't, and I'm not criticizing anybody. It just hasn't happened. So, I'm fine to explore this, and I'm not saying I will do what, I just want to know what the citizens want. And I like this, so. Any other discussion on it? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? One opposed. Okay, so there's that. We have one motion left.
No, David.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor? Aye. All right, boom.
You put a bunch of items like those.
Boom.
Hey, Matt.
Ready, great. Oh, yes, ma'am.
Going.